All right. Yeah. Penn State's at number 10 on this FPI produced by ESPN. So that's not going to be an easy trip to Happy Valley. But you're at number 16. Do you have any thoughts about that, Michael? Does that sway you either way? Because as we discussed before we started to record, number 16 in the country also translates with that schedule to only about 7-5 if ESPN knows what they're talking about.
Right. Listen, the SEC West might as well be an extension of any division in the NFL, right? Like, I mean, it's going to be tough this year. A lot of people were down on LSU. I don't think they're going to be as bad as they played last year. You have Texas A&M, which is kind of on the rise. They have some things to replace on offense there. You know, Alabama is Alabama. Ole Miss looks resurgent on offense under Lane Kiffin. Who knows what Mike Leach is going to put out at Mississippi State. I mean, you've got a lot of competition that's going to happen in our league next year. And a lot of it just hinges on what I think is going to be how productive are we going to be on offense. And our defense, Ike referenced 2019. We played well enough. We had a championship level defense in 2019, but they got no help from the offense that year, particularly on the road. So the 16 FPI, I think, reflects the respect that they have for the talent that we have. And I mean, it may even be a little high to me, but I just really think, at the end of the day, they're looking at Auburn and saying this team is supremely talented. We got the transfer on defense from West Virginia, Drayshawn Miller. He's going to come in and help anchor what is already a dynamic secondary. Defensively, I expect us to be good. I think that Derek Mason is going to know how to get the most out of this defense, and they're going to give us a chance to win most games. So the question will be, can we just produce enough offense to win those games? Because you're not going to stop everybody. Offense is, the rules of football have become so offense friendly over the last few years. Like, you can't touch the quarterback. It's harder to play defense as a defensive back. And you're seeing, a lot of teams score points like crazy. 2019 LSU, last year's Bama team, right? Like, these are all-time great offenses that we're seeing in the SEC now. So, you're not going to stop a team like that. You can only kind of limit them, and then you have to match their production on offense. And, 16 FPI reflects the question mark about whether we can produce enough offense, to stay up there with the big boys. That's what I see about that ranking. I think it's a respect of what Auburn can be as a program, while acknowledging the reality of the situation that we face with our schedule, which really is every year.
Yeah, no, we're in this predicament every single year. We're going to have one of the toughest schedules in college football. It's not going to get any easier with our out of conference schedule the last couple of years. I mean, you look at Washington, Oregon, and we were scheduled to start last season against North Carolina, who ended up having a really good year. Due to COVID, we played an all SEC schedule, but North Carolina was supposed to be our opener last season. Then we're going to come in with our first big test on the road against Penn State in one of the most hostile environments in college football. Like, it's not easy to play. And to your point, Brian Harsin took a really tough job, right? Like, if you're going to play at Auburn, you're going to have a very tough job. And if he can win at the same rate that he was winning at Boise here in Auburn, he might go down as one of the best ever, right? Like, it's just not an easy thing to come in and do. But as far as the rankings are concerned, Penn State being at 10, that's a very optimistic ranking in my book, just because Penn State didn't have a great season last year, but that shows a respect for who they have going up there, that they have as far as running that program, that they feel like they can right the ship. Got a new offensive coordinator there at Penn State, so they're expecting to be able to put up more offense, right, and cure some of the woes that they have going on there. But then it shows a ton of respect for us finishing the season in the fashion that we did last year, being fairly mediocre, but still considered to be one of the top 25 teams in the country. That's a good thing. And I think as an Auburn fan who has seen the trajectory of a school that has been counted out and then come from behind, I prefer for us to be even lower. Like, just drop us down to like 28 or something, so that they can play the underdog role and be what traditionally has been the Auburn role of upset guy, and make people respect you later on. So I'm good with it.
Yeah, it's fun to talk about, and it keeps YouTube channels like mine going. But once they hit the field, it doesn't matter if you're 4 or 44 or 102.
Right.
they got to start popping pads and start running and hitting on the field. But Mississippi State at 8 and Oklahoma State at 9 and Texas Tech at 21 makes it look like I've got a video that I'm going to post here on the ESPN FPI.